But to take and to play, we must take that action. We must do it. We must employ it. We must empower it through our thought. And we have a physical activity. We have a mental activity. We have an emotional activity and an attitudinal activity. What we must do, and what I encourage you to do, is we just got to get up and get it done. We got to get it together. Place it in the valued structure that works for you. We all have a plan. Some may be a little less developed than others, but whatever it is that you have planned, whatever you set your scope of desire for or to, get moving and enjoy the playtime. Take a break. Dr. Pat Campbell, in her book, Giving God a Good Time, is loaded with, and we have it in the bookstore, but she has wonderful, wonderful quotes and quips and living examples of showing God a good time. Spirit wants for us to be happy individuals. The only limitation that we put on any of that is our preconceived ideas. So when we live that authentic self, our true self, we're living and showing God a good time as well as ourselves. What I know is that when we come from a kindness and consciousness, when we see people and honor them wherever they are on their journey, their path, when we see that as their truth, knowing for them that whatever they do is their own business and it's really none of ours, that they're living the life that they have chosen. But it's sort of like when it's a real sunny day and you have a large chunk of ice, it melts quite easily. And I found that so apparent this morning as I set up the iced tea in reception. I thought, there was a lot of ice in that jug, but it was melting rapidly. And then if you want a glass of iced tea at reception, be sure and get the ice out of the freezer. There's a lot to use there. But when that ice melts away, and when you come from that thoughtful, kind state of consciousness, you are living your faith base and recognizing all for theirs also. And when we allow that, any misunderstanding or lack or less thans simply evaporate. You see the goodness. And we must all remember and be mindful that there is a sameness in most things rather than the differences. We tend to dwell upon the differences, but when we live with the sameness and recognize the sameness, we come from that collective state of consciousness. As we play our way through life, we become aware of many things, which our science of mind teaching brings to us. And the first one I want to talk to about and mention is God, Spirit, the creative intelligence, the universal knowing, the one I am. What I like to think about that is that it's a silent partner behind all things. It is our backbone of faith. And it's ready to bring into our life everything that we can imagine, everything that we desire, everything that we want or say that we want. And everything, it always brings into us everything that we need. We might not like it, but it brings it to us. What we do with the less thans is the way we process our teaching. Dr. Holmes expresses in the textbook, this wonderful book, God is always ready to pour into our experience that which we need. That might not be what you want, like I said earlier, but it's what we need to bring clarity, to bring the development, to bring the love, and to bring that life that is ours to fruition. What I like to think about that is it's a great big safety net. We're cradled in that hammock of consciousness. We are supported, we are loved, and we do make a difference. And the second one is that we live in play and we have our being in mind. And we do. It, the mind, can return to us only what we think into it. And there's another premise in one of the deep convictions of Dr. Holmes, telling us that our energy, our mind is our energy. And how we direct it, how we use it, and what we do with it is up to us. And it can only return to us what we think into it. And if we think lack and fear and awfuls and ain't it terribles, guess what's going to show up? Guess what's going to show up? But I'm knowing all of you here today that you think only the positive thoughts. And we illumine and transform and allow the richness of Spirit to bless us. Just imagine that if you climb to the top of a ladder on a slide, 12, 14 steps up, and you stand there and you look around like I'm looking down into the congregation, into the sanctuary today, and you're ready to take that step off the ladder onto the slide. And you spook out with fear. And you're afraid you're going to get hurt. What if you fly over the side of it? What if I break a bone? What if I do this? What if I do that? You know what? You just might attract that. And nothing's worse than a sliver on the backside. But be it in your spiritual playground, or in the workplace, or here at your spiritual home, the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Chico, what I know for you to always be mindful of, and every single day in my quiet time. And this morning when I was doing my special time, my Louis time I call it, it is done unto you as you believe. And if you're going to believe that there's lack, there's fear, there's this, there's that, that's exactly what it's going to be. Direct the thought to the good that is divinely yours. It is a divine gift. And the third one I want to talk to you about today, or share with you, is abundance, prosperity, loving relationships, harmony, and balance in every area of your life. Those are the attributes of God, and those that will support, transform, and allow each and every one of us to have within us every tool. We are equipped to make the changes that serves us to our greater good. It is supported by this thought: God has given us a power and we must use it. Dr. Holmes is very emphatic about that we have the beauty and the knowledge and the intellect within to make the difference. It's how we direct it and how we use it. As we play and live in our physical world, which we are all in, perhaps the mental world is a better place to be. I like to think that. And we know that every thought and every change is just one thought away. But we must be mindful that spirit and success are our play partners. That wherever we choose to move out or into or do whatever activity we want to have, everything that we desire can be ours by using our power, the one power, the mental, mindful goodness. Nothing hinders us in the experience of accomplishing our good but our limited thought about it. One of the grand things about this teaching is that we are held in self-responsibility. And if we don't like it, let's do something about it. And we can. All of the power in the universe is for you. You feel it, you see it, you demonstrate it, you allow it. It's here, it's now. So we know it, and we act toward it. And we affirm this truth every time we take a step, every time we take a breath. We release anything that limits us and anything that's restricting and thought patterns. And we let ourselves slide down into our personal playground. And there's such a joy as we go down that slide, with speed, with freshness, the wind in our face. Just imagine all those children in the playgrounds having that fine time. And why can't it be us? It can. Our personal playground is the space in consciousness that is without boundaries, limitations, or restrictions. That mental state allows us to be free, F-R-E-E, without any containment. All of life is but one thought away. And things that come to us that we don't like, we can change. So as we enter into summer of 2012, and I'm loving the longer days, and I'm finding that I'm awakening earlier in the morning because it's light, and that the barbecues and the fun things to do on the deck, if it isn't 110, I enjoy that. That it becomes a playtime of good thoughts, good deeds, and good action. And I want to recap for you the three things that I just shared with you. That God is the silent power behind all things, our support system. That we live and play in one mind. It's vast, it's spacious, and it's ours to use and to share. And each attribute of God is supported by this. God has given us a power, and we're encouraged to use it. So I have a little affirmation that we're going to do today. I'll read through, and then we'll do it together. Play by day, play by night, play for spirit with all of your might. So let's do it. Play by day, play by night, play for spirit with all of your might. So as I ride my slide to the end of the slide and get ready to jump off, the question still remains. To play or not to play? It's a simple question. So I'm urging each and every one of you to play. Play more. See the good and the joy and the happiness in each and everything that you do. And that as you play and pay in spiritual currency, a summer of choice awaits you. It's yours to have fun. It's Spirit's grand pleasure. And remember, gratitude is when memory is stored in the heart and not in your mind. And I had one of these wonderful occasions called birthdays this week. And on one of my cards, I want to share with you the very last little tidbit for today. May the highways you travel be smooth and quite wide. May your blinkers flash freely wherever you ride. And my lesson ends in love. Before we